Okay, so for this week's episode, episode 3 of Free Dive to the Future, there was a lot of stuff that went down. In particular, the budding companionship of Natsuya and Rin, something none of us could have ever expected, and the breaking down of Ikuya's both emotional and, I would say, mental state. So to start off with Natsuya and Rin, we come to find out the whole purpose of Natsuya being in Sydney, and it's because he wants to get stronger. So he tries to get Mikael, the same coach who is training Rin to become an Olympic swimmer, to train him, because he's well known and he's very good at what he does. But Mikael is not having it. He doesn't want to train Natsuya. So we have where Natsuya is constantly dragging Rin all over Sydney every evening for dinner, and they're talking about each other's past, and they're actually getting along pretty well. I actually like the fact that Rin is very respectful towards Natsuya. He used like a respectful tone towards him, but Natsuya is very informal with him. So it's like a senpai and kohai, but at the same time, Rin looks up to Natsuya almost like a father figure, because he saw for a quick glance at him, reminded him of how his father treated him when he was still alive and when Rin was younger. Not only that, they had a little swimming race against each other, and of course, when it comes down to that, Kyoani is on top of their game. But of course, it was cut short due to the weather. There was even a point where the whole point of that swimming race was that if Natsuya beat Rin, he could stay at his apartment, because the hotel that he was currently staying at, the same hotel that we saw back in episode 12 of Eternal Summer, he was going to leave there a week later. So he was supposed to stay in Sydney for quite a while and hopefully convince Mikael to train him. But instead, the whole race was that Rin would let him stay at his apartment, but he completely changed his mind. It's like he does one thing, and then when some inspiration kicks in, he does a whole nother thing. Instead, now he's going to go back to Japan to fulfill his promise, which was to Naho, to one day swim with him. Now, if you guys don't know, and this is going back to the movie, Naho was originally the manager, but before he was able to swim. And the reason why he can't swim no more is because of what happened to his eyes. So he had to get surgery so he can no longer be a swimmer. But eventually, hopefully one day, they do get to swim with each other, even if it's not for the competitive sense. Not only that, I had to say, Natsuya fit Haru saying what he used to say, "I only swim free," simply because he's not a competitive swimmer. What he does is he goes around the world earning prize money from little small swimming challenges, and he uses it to go all over the world, challenge different competitors and such. So he's living the dream at such a young age, just doing what he wants and what he loves. By the end of the day, he still has a promise, something that he has to go back home to, and that's his old friend Naho. So hopefully in future episodes we can see Rin and Natsuya continue to talk with each other, because I really enjoy the dynamics between these two characters. Now, in regards to Ikuya, when in the episode Natsuya was talking to Rin, and he was telling him about how when he and Ikuya were in America, he had a near death experience. He drowned, but this one was more serious. This led him to stay in the hospital for a few days. Not only that, it goes to show that he and Hiyori knew each other since then. So my guess is this is where Ikuya and Hiyori actually met up with each other. They actually first introduced to each other, and they became friends from there. And for the fact that he traveled back to Japan to continuously watch over Ikuya so he doesn't have that same experience, and to keep him safe, just goes to show that Hiyori was never a bad guy to begin with. And I think a lot of people hold him over for being way too protective. But if you found your friend nearly die in front of your eyes, I think anybody who has a conscious mind and someone who deeply cares for their loved ones would be also like Hiyori. They will have a watchful eye over that person. But at the same time, it makes me think they possibly knew each other even way before America, simply because in the opening where we saw Hiyori looking at that mermaid tail, and then in his eyes showed a even younger version of Hiyori, it makes me think that, their past actually goes further than what is being let on at the current moment. So, you find out that reason, but also for the fact that when Natsuya was telling Rin the whole story, he was also telling him that when they came from Japan and how his old swimming team broke apart, with Asahi moving and Makoto and Haru quitting the team, and Rin realized that, hold on, this all goes all the way back to when I challenged Haru to that little swimming fight that they had, and how that same swimming challenge actually broke Haru because Rin, did what he did back in season 1, and then he realizes, hold on, I'm the root cause for all of this. I'm the one that caused Haru to quit the relay team in his middle school, therefore leading Makoto to quit. And then, well, not his fault that Asahi moved, but all of these things that happened from that one particular swimming challenge between him and Haru led up to this chain of events that is still going on to this current day. And then coupled with the fact that from what happened in middle school, that emotional baggage that Ikuya had to have from middle school, and then carrying on into America from that near drowning experience, causes him to be who he is right now. And this is actually affecting how he is swimming, because he's not swimming at the top of his game. Actually, what he's going through mentally and emotionally is affecting how he's performing. And Hiyori is witnessing this, and he's reporting back to Natsuya all that's going on. So I don't know if anytime soon Natsuya is going to confront his younger brother to try to figure out what's going on with him. Hopefully that he will open up to his brother about his problems with which he's dealing with. If he can't tell Hiyori, possibly he may tell Natsuya, because it's shown that they do care for each other very much. Not only that, we had a Makoto and Sosuke conversation in this episode, and it's dealing with everything that's going on between Ikuya and himself and Haru, and how they can try some way to figure it out. So for those who like these two characters, myself included, that was actually a nice surprise. So by the end of the episode, we have where Natsuya originally was going to stay in Sydney and become Rin's room apartment friend. He was going to share the same apartment with him, but instead he's going to travel back to Japan to fulfill his promise towards Naho, who unfortunately can't become a competitive swimmer, and it's due to an eye problem he had, and was going back to the movie because he had surgery for his eyes. But he did make that promise that hopefully one day both him and Naho will be able to swim together. So sooner or later we're going to see him back in Japan and then interacting with the rest of the characters. But nonetheless, I sincerely enjoyed this episode. It's one of my faves. But next week, some stuff is going to go down. So I don't know what's going to happen. But most definitely, I really enjoyed this episode, and hopefully all of you enjoyed it as well. And this is the 3rd episode, so do tell me, are you planning to continue with this series? Are you going to put it on hold, or are you going to drop it? Do tell me in the comment section below, and tell me your thoughts on this week's episode, some theories that you guys may have for future episodes, and stuff that you may have picked out from today. As well as check out the links in the description box. And I'm Kimmy Chan of Anime Legends Podcast, and I will see you guys later. Bye!